Seen?
Yeah.
What I seen?
From your team, yeah.
Well, I mean, it was just a great performance. I mean, that was a great basketball game on both sides. I thought, we always seem to get Stanford's best. It always seems to be that way. They've never been flat against Oregon State, it doesn't seem. It's how it feels. Maybe everyone feels that way. That's how it feels. And so it was a great defensive battle, and because of that, you had to hit tough shots, and both teams hit tough shots, and it was just a gritty, tough performance from both teams. It was a championship-level game. That's what it was, and so to be able to say that means, we operated and we played at that level, and we did. I think there were just it was the feel that every competitor wants to be a part of. That's what that game was. I mean, I told the team afterwards, there was about 3.5, 4 minutes to go, and it was almost emotional because I was so proud of the way we were competing and the level that we had elevated to, that, it takes time to get there, and it takes experience to get there, and then once you feel it, you just want more of it. And to come up short was obviously disappointing. We thought we had a steal for the tie, and and a foul was called, and so when games come down to just those little tiny things, it's a great sport, and so I was just couldn't have been more proud of the team for the way we battled and competed, and I think they showed themselves something, probably most importantly, that night. And we've known for a while that we can compete with great teams. We've been right there with everyone, minus LSU. That game was crazy, and it got away from us. Every other game we've had an opportunity, in the fourth quarter, to be close to win or to compete, and so that was a culmination of all those lessons, I thought, and the team should be very confident in their abilities, even though you have to manage the emotions of disappointment.
It does seem as if the team has absolutely played its best games against the best opponents this season. The UCLA, Oregon, at Arizona, at Stanford. Those occasions, the team has showed its best side.
I agree with you, which brings up a question, right? And so, yeah, we have played, you're right, we've played our best when it's been demanded. And, I think you have to say it. One of our weaknesses has been inconsistency, even not game to game, within the game, quarter to quarter, minute to minute. At times we've been up and down, and so that's what we've been trying to solve and figure out and help them with, and it's hard to have an answer for that, but we'll keep battling, and when it all clicks for 40 minutes like it did at Stanford, and it has at times, we're good.
So you have a whole bunch of new players. You come through the preseason, the start, and you start getting a feel for it, and then you add another piece into Mia. How do you feel like that integration has gone, where the team has begun to maybe find itself, and then welcomes a new piece, but it is having to integrate a new piece again at this stage in the season?
Yeah, which it's part of sports. There is a challenging aspect to it. You wouldn't change it, but there is a challenging aspect to it, even for me, not knowing exactly who she is on the road, exactly who she is in this environment, that environment, and just letting it play out when there are other pieces that are known, that we've been developing, but probably it's gone as well as you could possibly imagine. It's remarkable what Tamia's done and the way she's done it, the just level of respect that she commands is uplifting to everyone. What she brings to the floor, she brings just a professional approach to the game, and she's such an elite competitor. And just unflappable, in demeanor, and that brings strength to us. And so it's been, just a blessing to finally have her, and certainly wish we would have had her all year, but now we have her and she's made us better and gives us a different look and makes us even more flexible in the way that we can play.
Is that integration more difficult on offense or defense?
I would say defense. There's some things on the defensive end that are beyond our control. I mean, we're at the mercy of whatever the other team's doing. Offensively, we can control that a little bit more. I think there's a steep learning curve on both ends of the floor, no question. But the defensive end is the one that in this conference with the pace of play, that ball's moving. The decisions that you have to make come from repetition, where it's innate. You don't want to be thinking any longer. And if it's your fourth game at Stanford, right, that she ever played, the pace that they play with is about as fast as anybody, and so that's a challenge, So that's where our focus is. I mean, we've done everything we can to help her every way we can, but what she's done and what she's brought has been, amazing.
Yelena, the way that she has adapted this year to having new post players come in and have success and integrate themselves in part of the team, but at the same time she just continues to do what she does, and it maybe seems like these last few games have maybe been the best she's played at both ends of the floor. What have you seen out of Yelena's growth this season?
Same. I think. Well, I know that we saw, a great stretch of basketball from her at the end of last season. She really competed well down the stretch and then into the tournament at the end. And then this year, really hit her stride just recently, where we've had moments, of course, but recently where she's been, almost, dominant, where she's controlling rebounds, she's getting deep positions, she's knocking down perimeter shots now, knocking down tough post shots over the top of good defenders, and she understands the game so well. She's been here for a while. She's setting great screens at good angles, and it's made us a lot better. Just this emergence that she's had fairly recently, and I don't really know the reason for that. I don't. She's a very talented player, and I told her that after our Stanford game. Yelena's she's as good as she wants to be. There's really not. What can't she do? She can't quite dunk, which doesn't make sense to me. But but she is so skilled and so smart, and with her size can be so formidable, and so it's been fun to watch.
This weekend, obviously, it just doesn't get it. Your home doesn't get any easier with Utah and Colorado. Can you talk, first of all, maybe about Utah and what you see in their program, what you got to do?
Yeah. Well, when we've had our best offensive teams over the years, you have that inside presence that's dominant, and then you've got shooters everywhere, and the ball moves in an unselfish way, and that's what I see with them, and and it's been that way for a while. Their offense that ball moves, they run great stuff, they expect to win, they expect success, and they're fun to watch because of that. They got shooters everywhere, and they play fast. And what I've seen from them the last couple of years is just a greater commitment to the defensive end of the floor, and that's what's, in a way, put them over the top, And so Utah's just a very good team. You can't blink. I talked about Stanford playing fast. Utah plays fast, too. Very similar.
And Colorado, again, a team that's been ranked and having good success this season.
Yeah, tough. Nice additions in the offseason. Sherrod's still running the show for her 12th year. Just kidding, but it seems like she's been there a while, and I'm a big fan of her. I love the passion she plays with, and she's their quarterback, and they've got nice pieces. They've got a great shooter in Frida, and they've got great post play, and so, there's no breaks in this league, none. And so it's just 80 more tough minutes this weekend.
You say that. You go and you look through this. You go through the Pac-12 standings, looking for easy outs. There's just not a lot of
There's
What
not
do
any.
you think the conference is at this point? You've been here long enough now to have
Mhm.
some historical perspective. Where is this conference today?
Yeah, that's a good question. What I've always said to that, like, how good is the Pac-12? I mean, we've had great players. I mean, I remember when I came in here, and who Stanford was at the time. I mean, they had 2 Agumekes on their team. I mean, we've had great players in this conference forever. I think the difference at the moment, over the last couple of years anyway, there's been so little turnover in coaching staff. And I mean, Adia was new, but she's not new. She was Pac-10. She played at Arizona. She knows the league inside and out. And then this year, Lindsay's new at USC, but Lindsay's not new. She was at Cal. And then when we have hired, we've hired proven veteran coaches that know who they are and they bring a good system in that's proven over time. And, they build that, but we've had so much consistency. So night in and night out, you're scouted so well, teams are coached so well that, you are going to be playing into your weaknesses every night. And that's what we try. It's fascinating to try to tell new people, meaning freshmen, this is what's coming. And to see when it hits that what you were saying was actually right. This is the hardest thing you'll ever do. In your life, you'll never fail more than you're going to fail this year because they are scheming you. And this league is it's just that. And so, anyway, it's a ton of fun because of it, and when you give in to what it takes, there's nothing better, so where it is historically, I can't say that. I can't, is it the best ever? Who knows? I mean, I can't say that. However, it's really good.
Yeah. This is Alumni Weekend.
Yeah.
You've obviously now, there's quite a contingent of alumni.
Yeah.
Over the years. What does Alumni Weekend mean, and what do you take from it?
Joy. I think, I think I just watched, the school I came from. I was there for 14 years, and I saw how every year we'd have an alumni game, and they would come back, and I saw how meaningful that was to them to feel a sense of home, a sense of family forever, and belonging. And it was hard leaving there because you'd never know. I hope that doesn't change. I hope they always feel connected, even though the coach changes. And then I came here, and while this is my school, I wasn't part of this program at the time. I hoped that for them that we would keep that going. And so this week we just get to celebrate, all their contributions, invite all of our alumni back, and hope they just have that same sense of warmth and belonging, and that they're welcome here anytime, and so I think we've done that over the years. It's really neat to have Devin back. She's coordinating the efforts, and so to get a call from one of your, sisters, within the program over the years, it's pretty neat. Hey, come join us and come back to campus. And so some of the most, touching moments have been when alums have come back and shared with our current players, and, just watching their interactions, watching them have so much fun together as alums, but then to watch them pour in and let our current team know, hey, this has been going for a while. It's not just now, and you're part of something really special. So Alumni Weekend's always a highlight.
How fitting is it that Devin would be organizing that? The one with the reputation for always doing the dirty work and organizing alumni. It seems fitting that Devin would be the one doing it.
It does. Well, for every reason, I guess, for every reason. Yeah, but she's done a great job, though, just reaching out and bringing people back and bringing her friends back, that she played with. And, so it's all good. It's all good. Special.
It's funny you say, you tell freshmen this is the hardest thing you're going to do, because I remember when I was a freshman and they were like, oh, can you just get up in front of the recruits and say a few words? And I told them, I'm like, this is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And my coaches were like, why would you say that? But I was like, because it's true. But knowing that and knowing how a lot of your team is new players, freshmen, some have already played in this league, just how are they handling coming so close with some teams, but just falling a little bit short, being like a couple possession baskets away from like some of those games you come out win.
Yeah, we talk about it, and we address that stuff honestly because it's hard. There's no other word for it. I mean, you invest everything and you come up short. It sucks. I mean, it's hard. And so we say that. It's rough. Losing's miserable at the college level, and every level, but it's not fun here. And, you do everything you can to avoid it for that reason, right? And so then you deal with the emotion, and then you control what you can control. And you look at the facts. And I always deal with honesty and facts. Facts are, we were 7 points from coming home with 2 wins last weekend. I mean, we lost 2 games by 5 total points. We played the number 3 team and down to the wire. And then we came up short in a disappointing loss on Sunday. A game that we once again led, into the fourth quarter, and they made the plays and we didn't. And so, what do you do? I mean, how can we get a little bit better? And so to come back from that and to take on another team, like to get ready after a rough weekend for Oregon, and then to take that into Stanford, come off the Stanford loss and get ready for Cal and play good for most of that game. It takes a lot of courage to do it. And so, because of that, I'll tell them that, I'm proud of you for getting back up and for fighting, like crazy once again. And that is the right thing to do, though. It's what we expect to do. And so that for that reason, I expect us to be right back in it Friday night as if we were undefeated, honestly. And so I think the proper mindset is that you are undefeated. You are. That's the right way to be. And I don't care what your record is. Just get better every day, and what more can you do? And so that mindset, I think, is healthy and puts you in the right place to continue to grow.
And going back to just some of those little things, what are some little things that you are focusing in practice? Do you feel like you need to change anything? Kind of what is your plan as a coach kind of moving forward?
Yeah, we're always tweaking things, and we're always looking for adjustments, of course, as we gain more information, and we always look at our opponents and say, okay, we can take advantage of this or that, or we need to avoid this or that. So there's always slight adjustments. I think it's sometimes a mistake to overreact to things, and so what are we doing and how can we improve what we are doing? Bottom line, we went 2 for 11 in the fourth quarter. We just didn't execute quite as well as we needed to. We had defensive breakdowns in the fourth quarter that allowed them to shoot 58% in the fourth. And you're not going to win doing that. You can't go on the road and do that. So it comes down to just let's execute. And let's stay composed and focus and just stay with what we do. It works. Let's keep going. What got us this lead, keep doing it. And, if we take the emotion out and just go straight to execution, usually things work out for you, and so that's where our focus has been, and just continuing to define those things and clean up the mistakes that we've made because, we've been right there with pretty much every team for a reason, and we've had lots of leads late for a reason. Now it's just finishing time, so let's do that a little bit better.
And you just talk about just the emotion. I know you've been coaching women's basketball for a long time, but just like how much more, like coming up from an insider standpoint, like how much does emotion play? Like what role does it play in the success or defeat in some areas?
I don't know if it's, men and women. I don't know if it's that. I think you have to have enthusiasm, you have to be excited, and you have to care. For sure, you have to care, and it's got to get the most out of you. But to be overly emotional doesn't necessarily work because it clouds the brain, and now we're doing things for the wrong reasons instead of just staying, composed. And I think when you look at the best competitors, and it doesn't matter what sport or male or female or whatever, it's you just make plays or you don't, bottom line. And I think whatever you got to get yourself to make sure you're making the play is where you need to be. And at this age, you can't really rely on anybody else to get you there. These are adults now. And, I always say, nobody called me this morning and gave me a pep talk. But I need to be on my A game today, and I know that, and it's my job to get myself there. So you get into a game, it's your job to have the right mindset at all times and get yourself there before, during, and after the game, and so that you can be on your A game again tomorrow. And that is growing up, that's being an adult, and that's the expectation here. And I think over the years, that's what everybody knows about our program. We've been more often than not the team that has found a way to win in the end. And this group, our best is still ahead, and I'm confident that they'll be doing that before it's over.
And just looking ahead, kind of like we were talking about before, just with the alumni, you guys being back at home, do the players have a good sense of are they excited to be back at home? Do they know the alumni are coming? Do they feel a little bit of pressure, but it's like good, nervous pressure that they're going to be there? Just how are they feeling heading into this weekend?
Yeah. From what I've seen so far, I mean, we had practice yesterday. We talked about it. We talked about alums coming and how exciting that always is. I don't sense that there will be any pressure and that they'll feel that. I do know that they love playing in Gill, and so I know that they're going to be excited for Friday night, for every reason. But, I mean, there's nothing like playing up there. I mean, it's the best.
Just kind of how hard it's been on the team, just coming so close in a lot of games and falling short. Are you guys just feeling the loss, or is it more kind of inspiring, hey, we're right there with some of the best teams in the nation?
I mean, obviously, it always sucks to lose. And so, I mean, yeah, it hurts to lose very close games. But I think that everybody's, getting to a point that was okay, we're just right there. We just need to come over the hump. It's Coach told us, we only were 7 points away from 2 wins this weekend, or last weekend. And so, when you think about it in that way, you're okay, we're right there. So I think everybody's motivated, especially with another top 10 team coming into Gill this weekend. So everybody's motivated, and we're tired of losing. And so I think that now we're realizing what it takes to win in the Pac-12, and we're just one step away. And hopefully we can put everything together this weekend.
And it being Alumni weekend, you're going to have a lot of people probably packed inside Gill. And knowing that you guys came close on the road, and just knowing how well you play at Gill, do you look forward to that? Do you feel pressure? Are you nervous? What are your feelings just, going there, knowing that these games are big? They're kind of must-wins at this point for you guys.
No, I mean, it's always fun to play in Gill. We're always going to be it's always fun to play at home, have our home crowd behind us, all the support that we get. So obviously we have a little chip on our shoulder because we should have won the weekend last weekend, and that's how we feel. And so we have a chip coming into this weekend. But I mean, I know it's a must wins, but we're trying to take it one day at a time. So we're only thinking about Utah on Friday, and then obviously after Utah, we're only going to think about Colorado. And I think when we think about one game at a time, that's when we start playing better. But when we think about the full weekend, I think that's when we are kind of lose our head. So just one day at a time is something that we need to just keep focusing on.
Anything individually that you're working on or trying to get better at in preparation for these games this weekend?
Just communication. I think there was a lot of, especially in the Cal game, we had a lot of mistakes on defense. It just came down to communication. I think against Stanford, we're communicating at a high level, and we kind of dropped a little bit when we played Cal. So I think that's our biggest focus this week, because everything else is kind of clicking for us. The offense was flowing last week and things like that. So we're just going to continue to keep working on those things. But I think communication is the biggest thing.
Looking at Utah specifically,
Yeah.
what do you think is the most important thing that you guys do to be successful on Friday night?
Oh, guard the three-point line. They can shoot from 1 through 5, and so that's going to be the biggest thing. Sometimes we struggle to guard the three-point line, but this game is going to be very vital because they can shoot NBA threes. And so having to close out high, instead keep them in front is going to be the biggest thing. But just guarding the three-point line and rebounding.
And a quick turnaround, same question about Colorado. I know maybe not look at them quite as much yet, but what do you see in what you've done on Colorado?
They're a different team than Utah. They don't shoot as many threes. They kind of have a bigger post presence, and so I think it's going to be a little different two different teams. So Friday we're going to guard the 3-point line a little bit more, and then on Sunday I think we're going to make people shoot and make them shoot over the top of us and things like that, and try to guard their post players because they got 2 fantastic post players. And so I think it's just 2 different teams.
There's a lot of youngsters on this team, and you're one of the not youngsters. When you're out there on defense, how much directing traffic are you doing? Sometimes just reminding people of where they're supposed to be, maybe what their, assignment is on a specific play. Especially with, not just Tamia, but especially, with someone like Tamia who's just now getting her season started.
Yeah. I mean, you just have to keep talking to her. I mean, the thing is, when she wasn't practicing, she was dialed into practice. So, like, really, when she jumped in, it didn't look like she missed like a beat. And so, there's little things that you got to tell her here and there. But I mean, she's so like mature and so poised that you don't really have to tell her that much. She kind of picks it up like while the game is going. But I just try to use my voice as much as possible. I think you guys see me talking like almost the whole game. So just giving everybody a little pointers here and there when they make a mistake. It's not always like the mistake. Like sometimes you can recover with your mistakes, you know what I mean? And so sometimes they put their head down with their mistakes, but I'm like, nah, like you're good. Next play. So sometimes it's things like that, but I just try to keep motivating them through everything.
This final bonus season at Oregon State, what's it meant to you? Coming back to your home state, getting this opportunity to play for this program in kind of this one last hurrah for them to,
Yeah. It's meant everything. Obviously, having my family come and see my games all the time, that's been something that I've always wanted. But being far away, they only got to see like a couple games here and there, and so having them be at every home game has been wonderful for me. Obviously, with my family tragedy we had, like I've been happy that I'm here, just being able to grieve with my family and be just together. And then obviously having my friends come and support me, that's been something that's I couldn't have dreamed of. And so yeah, just being able to finish it out here is something that I've always dreamed about. I didn't know if it was going to be possible, so I'm happy that it has been possible, and it's everything I've dreamed of, and I wouldn't have asked for anything else.
I got one for you then. What's it mean to you that you very well could be one of 5 active players, 7,000 points, and 200 steals in a two-way play?
That's crazy, honestly. I mean, I've never really thought about my career that way, having 1,000 points and 200 steals. I mean, the 200 steals, like I kind of strive for that because I've been a defensive player basically my whole career. So just having those 2 achievements is it's something that it's crazy. I've never really been somebody that like looks at my own achievements like that. I like the wins. I like the whole team things, but just my dedication and my talent, everything that I've put into this is just showing, and I'm actually super proud of myself. I don't really say I'm proud of myself too often, but I'm super proud of myself being able to be that close, and hopefully I can get the 200 steals.
Thank you.
Yep.